Hello everyone and welcome back to Parade of Paws. I'm your host Thomas Anderson and I'm joined today by Animal Control Officer Mary Dill. And as always, we're going to meet some cats and dogs that are up for adoption this month. But before we do, I'd like to ask Mary to tell us a little bit about yourself.
I'm an Animal Control Officer for the City of Casa Grande Animal Care and Adoption Center, which is a division of the City of Casa Grande Police Department. It'll be 12 years in July that I've been doing this.
Great, so we're going to meet a few cats first today. Let's get right into it. Let's start.
Okay. First one we have is Lynx. Lynx is a domestic short hair. He is a gray and black tiger stripe. Male neutered, about 2 years old. He's one of your big size cats. Just a lover. And he wants a forever home.
While we're waiting for Arrow to come out, Arrow has an interesting backstory. Right?
Yes, Errol has a very interesting story. He's a domestic short hair, gray and white, male, about 8 months old, but we believe that he was living in our dog kennel for at least 2 weeks. We kept seeing little packages in the kennel and knew it wasn't a dog getting out. Finally, he was spotted by our kennel technician, who then was able to coax him out. And that's Errol's story, is he liked living with the dogs in the kennel.
So maybe if someone has a dog or more and is interested in getting a cat to go along with it, maybe Errol would be a good choice.
Yeah,
Obviously not scared of dogs, right?
Yeah, he seems not to be afraid of dogs, at least when they're in there's a cage between them, but he seems not to be afraid because he was living in there.
All right.
Next we have Phineas. Phineas is a Siamese mix. He's a seal point, male neutered, 8 years young. The reason we say 8 years young is because you would never know he was 8 years. He still has a lot of kitten in him. And don't let the 8 years fool you, because he loves to play just like any kitten. He does have a little mustache. And Phineas has a guardian angel.
Can you tell us about the Guardian Angel program?
Guardian Angel, we have several citizens that will come and put money down on either a cat or a dog. There's no set amount. It's any amount that they would like to donate, and that helps go toward the adoption fee of the cat or dog. Next we have twin brothers, Freddie and Eddie.
Do you often get twins or brother, sister, or brother dogs in here?
A lot of times we'll get brothers and sisters, or what we presume are brothers and sisters, because they come in together and same age, even if they don't look alike. Freddie and Eddie came in together and appeared to look exactly alike. We can't tell them apart. And that's pretty unusual there.
But you know which one is Freddie and which one's Eddie, right?
No, I do not.
Okay. Good enough. So as we transition to our dogs, can you tell us a little bit about the specials for the month? I heard you have specials here at the Adoption Center.
Yes, the special for February is that all cats are $25 for the adoption fee, and that's unless they have a guardian angel. And if they have a guardian angel like Phineas does, then it's only $10. For that adoption fee, the animal is spayed or neutered. They have their, with the cats, they have their 4-way shot. The dogs have their distemper parvo shot. They have the rabies shot, and they come with the city license.
Okay.
So with the dogs, the first one is Monique. Monique is a Beagle Spaniel mix. She's about 1 year old. She's a little shy at first, but she's great after she gets to know you. She's very clean, and she loves to be held. Next we have Oscar. Oscar is a Dachshund. He's a lover. He's male neutered. He's only about 8 months old. As you can tell, he loves everybody. He loves to be held, and he'll ask you to hold him. That's Oscar.
Now our next dog has an interesting name. I'm sure you'll explain that, correct?
Potato Bug. Actually, I don't know other than when he came in, he was about 8 weeks old. This is a little Potato Bug. He was about 8 weeks old, so he was a little thing, and so he just looked like a little potato bug. He's a little Chihuahua mix, male neutered, and now he's 8 months old. So he's been with us for 6 months.
He won't get much bigger than that, will he?
He's just about full grown. Just about full grown. He desperately wants that forever home, and he probably won't get much bigger at all, even though he's a little Chihuahua mix. Good boy. Oh. This is Winchester. Winchester is a Basset Hound mix. Male neutered, about 1.5 years old.
So sometimes when people come in to adopt a pet, they want to know, is the pet already house trained? Is Winchester house trained?
Usually we do not guarantee that, but we have a little bit of history behind Winchester's habits. Winchester is housebroken. He's also crate trained, and he knows how to use a doggy door.
So some folks are first timers at being pet owners. Do they need to be concerned about house training? Is it a big challenge? What would you suggest to people?
I would suggest that they search out the web, like maybe the ASPCA, and get some tips on how to house train a dog. It takes a lot of patience and a lot of time. It's not one of those things that somebody says, oh, just put down some newspaper, they'll go on the newspaper. Well, then they'll go on your newspaper that you want to read.
Right. So very fortunate to find one that's already house trained.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
All right.
Hi, buddy.
Next we have Boston Bugsy. Boston Bugsy, as you can tell, is a Boston Terrier. He loves to jump and play, very hyper like most Bostons are.
Very strong.
Very
the table
strong.
away from us.
Yes. He does need, talking about the house training, he does need some work on the house training.
And how old is he again?
He's about 1 year old,
Okay.
but he does well on a leash. He just needs that house training. And so if you want a dog that will run and play and be that hyper dog, then that's the Boston. Boston Bugsy's the one. Okay. This is Beatrice. Oh boy. Beatrice is a beagle. She's a friendly, happy, outgoing girl.
So Beatrice looks like a purebred beagle, is that correct?
She appears to be a purebred beagle, yes. She's a typical beagle who wants to be the center of attention.
Mm-hmm. And what were beagles bred for? Can you tell us that?
Originally they were hunting dogs in Europe, and I believe that one of the things they hunted was quail, which we do have quail season around here. But she seems to more want to be into your lap than hunting.
Now Mary, we just met Beatrice, and Beatrice is a purebred, as you said. What if people are specifically looking for a purebred? We know there's lots of pet stores and places out there where, or you know, people that breed dogs that they could call. Why should they call you at the adoption center here?
We get lots of purebred dogs in, Dobermans, St. Bernards, German Shepherds. Could keep going and going on down the list of the purebreds that we get. To us, it is better to save a life by adopting rather than going and buying.
Okay. And what is the process of them calling? Are they able to tell you that they're looking for a certain type of breed and you have a list that they can get on, or just whatever happens to be as in inventory, I guess you could say here?
Yeah, our, as you say, inventory changes on an hourly basis.
Okay.
And so therefore, you can call in to us. It is a voicemail, and we do have volunteers or one of us officers will call you back, and we do have a list that we could put you on so that when we get that type of animal, which we just happened to did that last week with a German Shepherd, had a gentleman that had been on the list for a couple of months, and called him up, and he was still looking for a German Shepherd.
Right. Now, we've mentioned this to you before, but keep in mind you can also check out petfinder.com. You can check out the City of Casa Grande website at casagrandeaz.gov and see the animals we have up for adoption, including the ones that we have here today, anytime you want. So let's move on to our next dog.
Next we have Tango and Cash. Tango and Cash came in together. We believe that they are brothers. They're both Chihuahua mixes, and as you can tell, they look a little bit different. One is larger than the other one. They're about 3 months old. They're sweet, happy puppies. They are very vocal, and they love to play with toys, as most puppies do.
So you mentioned playing with toys, especially smaller dogs like this. I noticed that people sometimes give their pets kids' toys. Is that a good idea?
That's never a good idea. They make dog and cat toys for a reason, and that's because when they do tear it apart, that it's less likely that they will have a small part to choke on,
right,
or to go ahead and swallow and cause problems later on.
And not just chew toys, I guess, but also like what they call pig ears or pork ears or whatever. Is it possible for small dogs like this to choke on those also? Or?
Yes, it is. They do have appropriate treats out there for the smaller dogs. So they have for the small, the medium, and larger dogs. So it's always good to get the appropriate size.
All right, that's Tango and Cash. Let's meet the next. I think we have another duo.
Yes, we have another duo that's possibly brothers that came in together. This is Trey and Fin. Okay. This one's Trey. He is little cream and white. We figured that they're about 11 weeks old. He's quiet, little laid back, and his brother Finn here is the dominant one.
And just because we're presenting these some of these dogs as what you think may be brothers, or some of them you know are brothers, they don't necessarily need to be adopted that way, correct?
No, no, they would do fine by themselves. They do not have to go together. I'm sure they would like to be together, but that is not necessary for them to have a happy life.
Right. I believe we have at least one more, correct?
Yes, our last one will be Spike.
And Spike is a pug, I believe. It's a popular
Yes.
breed, right?
Yes, and Spike is a black pug, which is not as common as the fawn-colored pugs. He is male-neutered, about 2 years old. He's usually very mellow, but he sees all kinds of people, and he loves people. He likes to be outside, which a lot of pugs don't, and we don't recommend it in the hot months because of their snout being small.
And just to dispel a myth, the large eyes and smushed nose is normal for a pug, right?
Yes,
These
it
aren't
is.
the car chasing dogs that
No,
we hear
no.
people joking about.
No.
Right? All right.
Yeah. Spike doesn't realize he is a pug either.
All right. So I believe that's all of our dogs, correct?
That is correct. That is
And-
all the ones that we have featured today.
Okay. So tell us, please, if you could, how can people come and check out the dogs, other than the websites that we've mentioned? How can they come check out the dogs and cats? If they're interested, how can they come find out more about the process? If they want to adopt, what do they need to do? Where do they need to go?
What we recommend is that you call us at 426-9300. Like I said earlier, it is a voicemail system, and just leave us a message and somebody would call you back. We can set up a time because we like to make sure that somebody is actually here, because we do run short on staff when we're out running the calls, and we do run the office and the calls.
Okay. And where are you located at?
We're located at 202 East 1st Avenue. That is south of the railroad tracks in the old part of downtown.
And can you tell us a little bit about the stray pins that we have?
We have stray pins for after hours that if you find a dog on the streets and we're not open, the stray pins are located on Main Avenue, whereas the office on First Avenue. So before that on Main Avenue is where the stray pins are under a ramada with wrought iron fencing.
And do you have any advice for people if they're going to drop off a pet in a stray pin? What do you not want them to do, or do or do not want them to do?
Make sure that you can safely do that. Don't do it with an aggressive dog, that a dog's being aggressive to you. Make sure if it's being an aggressive dog that you would actually call, after hours, call the police department so they could either send a police officer or an animal control officer.
Okay. I've got one more question that I'm going to throw at you that you can probably help us out with, help our viewers out with. It's starting to get warm. I know it's only February, but it's starting to get warm.
Yes.
What do we need to be concerned with as far as heat in our animals?
It doesn't matter whether it's the heat or the cold. They should have shelter at all times to keep them from the elements, and make sure that they have water at all times. Like I said, it doesn't matter whether it's the cold or the heat. Make sure that they're out of the element and have plenty of water.
Mary, are there any upcoming events that you'd like to share with us?
Yes, actually, we'll be attending one of your events, the Public Safety Awareness Day, which is on March the 9th at the out at the Promenade at the Target parking lot from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. And we'll have 1 or 2 animals out there available for adoption. Plus, you can come by and ask any questions, any of our advice on anything to do with animal control.
I'd like to remind everyone the websites that I told you about earlier, petfinder.com and casagrandeaz.gov is the city website. You can also check out a couple of Facebook pages where we post our pets that are up for adoption and any adoption programs that are currently available at facebook.com/cgazgov and facebook.com/cgpolice. You'll find those pictures and those forms on both sites. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time on Parade of Paws.